morning, and thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We'll be covering Patrick Mahomes, the Dallas Cowboys, Bill Belichick, eco-activists who glued themselves to a car showroom floor, and make sure you stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into the oddities of the day. Before we start, I'd like to ask that you like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from the viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it also just really helps the show. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, Faith. Okay, everyone. I was just talking to Faith because I'm like, I got my hair and nails done for Faith over here today.
I told him to wear, after the show, I told him to wear pink today since it was Valentine's Day today.
So I represented, I wore pink. I had to put a little splash of black in there. And then, so we're talking, and then Faith is talking about, before the show, she's talking about Valentine's Day. And first off, Faith is over here sporting the hearts and everything on her shirt, which is kind of cool. But then let's put a little respect on Faith's boyfriend's name here. Let's hooked her up with some flowers and some Reese's chocolate back there.
Yes,
and I was telling Faith how I have this unhealthy relationship with Reese's peanut butter cup.
I do too. I love Reese's cups. I remember.
And I was saying, if there's going to be a bad video out, it's going to be me and like a bed full of Reese's peanut butter cups, and it's going to be all bad. But go ahead. What are you going to say?
I remember my senior year of high school. Every day after lunch, I would go to the vending machine and I would buy myself Reese's peanut butter cups, and so I had them every single day my senior year of high school.
Okay, do me a favor. Say the name again.
Reese's.
Okay, see, a girl after my own heart. It's really Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh.
We always say Reese's. I say it too.
Maybe it's a Southern thing. Thing.
It's Reese's, like Reese's Pieces. No, it is Reese's Pieces.
Excuse me. Reese's
No.
cups.
No. Oh, hell no. I'm not changing it.
I will always say Reese's.
This show, they're Reese's.
Yeah, Reese's cups.
Yes. Thank you. That's why we're kindred souls. But I was telling Faith before the show, and then we just decided to start the show, is the chocolate. I become a fan of the European chocolate. It's so smooth and it's really nice.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with a lot of Europeans when they come to talking about American chocolate. They think it's disgusting. And you know how many times I've heard people say that American chocolate tastes like vomit?
Really?
That's what they describe it as. It has a vomit taste to them. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Nah.
Like, the European chocolate, in my opinion, is superior. They're different.
Yeah.
But the American chocolate doesn't taste horrible. But to Europeans, oh my God, Europe! The first time a European comes over and they try American chocolate, no, I'm making a generalized statement. So it's not like line up all the Europeans and make them eat American chocolate. But a lot of them will be like, oh my God, this is disgusting.
I mean, I guess I can understand that if you grew up your entire life eating European chocolate and then coming and eating American chocolate. I don't think it tastes like vomit, though.
No, it's like, okay, you grew up your whole life eating hot dogs and then someone gives you a corn dog. It's like, oh, this is different. But one's like, oh, this one's disgusting and this one's great.
Yeah.
They're like, I like European chocolate. It's good, but just another layer. Like, the American's a little bit lower.
That's such an American approach to like trying to compare the two. You're like hot dog and a corn dog.
Well, we're going chocolate and chocolate. They're the same. Yeah. Just one is a little different than the other one, but they make it like you fed them rat poison sometimes.
Well, ours has a lot of sugar in it, and you said before on an earlier show that they don't put a lot of sugar in their stuff, so maybe that's why.
You know what? And this happened day before yesterday, which was
Mm-hmm.
weird. Um, we went to Aldi's, and I don't normally go to Aldi's, and Aldi's is more of an American chain. Have you heard of Aldi's,
I
right?
love Aldi's.
Okay, well, I normally do not like. I'm not an Aldi's kind of guy,
Mm-hmm.
but not that there's anything wrong with it, just
Yeah.
not one of my stores that I go to. And we have Aldi's is here in Europe, and so we went to Aldi's, and I just wanted something a little sweet, so I got chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from an American company, and I tasted it, and instantly it was like I gave it to my wife, and she's like, "Holy crap, is this sweet?" And then I tasted it, and it's like, "Whoa, it is like majorly sweet."
Yeah.
But I didn't say like, "Ooh, this tastes like vomit," and threw it across the room. No, it's just one is way sweet, one is like really smooth and
Mm-hmm.
creamy.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
sorry, didn't mean to go into a chocolate segment before we even get
well, I
this
still love
far.
Reese's cups, so and I'm gonna devour those after the show is over
Reese,
with.
you know what? And it tastes better when you call them Reese's.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Reese's cup, that's like that European chocolate, and they're just a little different to
Yeah.
me. All right, little lady
Alrighty.
and hearts today.
So, will Patrick Mahomes catch up to Tom Brady? Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes won his third Super Bowl championship on Sunday night, but he still has a long way to go to catch Tom Brady, who's collected 7 rings during his illustrative NFL career. Mahomes was asked about the prospect of chasing Brady on Monday. He commented, "Yeah, I think it's more just me trying to be the best I can be. I don't want to have any regrets at the end of my career, and I know how great of an organization, how great of a coach, tight end players that I have around me, and I don't want to let that slide by. I want to make sure I maximize my opportunities." Mahomes is just 28, so he has plenty of time to catch up or pass Brady. Brady won 2 of his Super Bowls in his 40s, so I feel like he has a great chance of surpassing Tom Brady, honestly. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay. I instantly I went right back to our original conversation that we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
American chocolate versus European chocolate. This is truly
Full
the
circle.
theme here. Full circle. I'm gonna bring everybody home here. I feel like this is the exact same conversation. When you're talking about the greatest of all time, this is my opinion. I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is my opinion on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, the greatest career I have ever seen, maybe in sports.
Mm-hmm.
He is the GOAT when you say the greatest career, NFL career of all time. It's not debatable. You
Mm-hmm.
can't question it. Tom Brady and nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game is Patrick Mahomes. They are both the GOAT already, in my opinion. And it is weird. I'm the guy that grew up years ago loving Roger Staubach and Terry Bradshaw and Fran Tarkenton. So I go back a long way, all the way to the greatest start in the history of the NFL was Dan Marino's first year. He just lit the world on fire. Uh, I look at Peyton Manning as the Rain Man. He can look at a defense and he can break it down to every level. And Peyton Manning, I used to look at him as the most complete quarterback in history. Patrick Mahomes has, in my opinion, surpassed them all. I think he's the best quarterback I have ever seen. When you look at will he catch Tom Brady, that's a different conversation because it's not about, this is the big misconception. A lot of people look at Tom Brady's career and say, you didn't match it. Well, part of Tom Brady's career is not about Tom Brady's skill, but the organization that's around him, the players that you put around him, the luck that, are you able to stay healthy? You cannot predict, like, oh, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes has an injury. Peyton Manning was on pace to do everything as far as numbers go that Tom Brady had done, except for he got a neck injury, which then made him leave the Colts and have to go to Denver. Yes, he got a Super Bowl out of going to Denver, but his career was shortened. We don't know that. We can't predict what happens if, what kind of injuries may hit Patrick Mahomes. We don't know. Let's say Andy Reid is no spring chicken. What happens to Patrick Mahomes? I liked how you smiled when I said he's not a spring chicken. Andy Reid might have eaten a few chickens, but he's no spring chicken. But if, let's say, Andy Reid retires and a new coach comes in, let's say the organization gets sold or a new ownership group takes control and takes the team down a different path. That's the stuff you can't control. And you need all of that to have a career like Tom Brady has had. You look at Tom Brady and you look at like the end of his career and Bill Belichick saying like, oh, he's washed. I want Jimmy Garoppolo. I want this person. I want him out of here, and him having to go to Tampa. Well, it's the way everything sounds like. Bill Belichick was having these thoughts years ago about switching out. So let's say he convinces Kraft or he goes in a different direction, and 10 years ago he's like, nope, we're done. And then he goes to another organization. Tom Brady's last third of his career or his last half of his career could have been totally different. Maybe he goes to a team where they don't have an offensive line as strong as an offensive line. He gets injured. His whole career goes in a different path in life. And now he's just an amazing, great quarterback. I think he still would be argued. It'd be him and Peyton Manning as two of the greatest of all time. But maybe he doesn't have a 20-year career. Maybe he doesn't end up with 7 Super Bowls. That's the stuff where you have to have everything go right. Coaching, ownership, organization, luck. You have to have all of that. But if you're asking me, greatest quarterback I have ever seen, it's Patrick Mahomes. Right now. I would take Patrick Mahomes over any quarterback who has ever lived. And that is fact for me. So go ahead. What are you going to say?
You had said one of our shows before how Patrick Mahomes, you can prove that he does so well and is one of the greatest quarterbacks because of like the team that he had to work with this year, and still ended up with a Super Bowl anyway.
Yeah, you have a team where they were looking at Travis Kelce as not as good as he's been, and that he's aged. A receiving core that was dropping balls and lining up off sides, and they were losing games. And this was, without question, the worst team that Patrick Mahomes had ever had. They traded away 2 years ago Tyreek Hill. You do not trade away arguably maybe one of the best receivers in the NFL, maybe the fastest receiver in NFL history, a game-breaking weapon. You don't take a game-breaking weapon away like the cheetah and you get better. You took away Tyreek Hill from Patrick Mahomes, mere bag of shells, no big deal. Back-to-back Super Bowls. with a weaker receiving core. They didn't go out and bring in another Hall of Fame wide receiver. Travis Kelce didn't elevate his game to God mode. No, they went down as far as the level of players that they had, and it was nothing. What they got out of it by not paying Tyreek Hill, by having Travis Kelce get a little bit older, by bringing in an inexperienced receiving core, is back-to-back Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes him the greatest I've ever seen, the greatest quarterback of all time. If you ask me that, I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes. Greatest career, the greatest career ever is Tom Brady. And there's nothing wrong with having multiple greats of all time. This era's GOAT is Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of weird to say this era's great because Tom Brady just retired. It's just that Brady's legacy just lasted so long that most young football fans, they only know greatness from Tom Brady. There's an entire generation or two generations that really only know the greats of all time. It's either Tom Brady's legacy, Peyton Manning's legacy, and then you go roll right into Patrick Mahomes' legacy. So no one had those years that it's like people nowadays think like, hey, you gotta have 3, 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls, 7 Super Bowls to be considered great. There's not a team in the NFL that has 7 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
No one does. But Tom Brady made it so that he moved the bar on everyone. But when you're looking at right now, he has just as many or more wins, playoff wins, than all the greats. We're talking about Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman, guys like that. He has more playoff wins than those guys. He has 3 Super Bowl rings. Guess what? Aaron Rodgers don't have that. Guess what? Brett Favre doesn't have that. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What he has done, only 5 people have ever had won 3 Super Bowl rings in history. 5. Football's been around almost 100 years, almost a century, and only 5 people have done it. He's done it in his first 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I say what Patrick Mahomes is doing, he has the joystick, he's on easy mode, and he is cruising. They're only gonna get better, provided injuries, coaching. The big concern when I think about Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes is who replaces Andy Reid. That's the key. Because if you can find a McVay or someone like that where there's a younger coach that can come in and still keep the organization going and being strong, then he can catch Tom Brady. He's good enough to catch Tom Brady if he's able to be healthy and do all that. But one little slip up, you bring in the wrong coach, and no, he will never catch him because Brady has put it so far out of reach that legacy greatest career ever. I don't know if he can catch the greatest career ever. He's already caught as far as the greatest quarterback in my eyes.
So you feel right now it's probably a little too early to tell at this moment.
As far as greatest quarterback,
Yeah.
no, I'm done with that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It is cancel Christmas, done. But but when you're starting to think about greatest career, ooh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's kind of like looking at that's kind of like looking at let's say LeBron James.
Hmm.
You look at their career, their length, and everything that they've done. You're talking about, how long his career is. I apologize. I have my two Rottweilers or Chihuahuas that is making noise as I have a couple of my friends that came in from Germany. I just saw them just come into the office here, so that's what they're barking about. So sorry about that, guys. So what do you say?
Um, I feel like I also agree that at the moment, Patrick Mahomes, no doubt about it, is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I mean, he's done so much in the few short years that he is in the NFL. And the fact that he's done it at the age of 28 is absolutely insane to me. But like you said, greatest career, obviously, it's going to be very, very hard to catch Tom Brady, if at all.
Absolutely. All
So,
right.
all right,
Now,
guys. Oop,
I was just going to say, before you go on break, I
yeah.
just want to warn you. I'm going to run out of the studio real quick,
Okay.
hug my friends that just flew in from Berlin, and then I'll be back here.
Gotcha.
So if you start up without me, you're going to have to cover a little bit there, but I'll be back.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys.